I have the High Priestess, the Ace of Swords, and the Page of Staves. What this tells me is there's a lot of sexual chemistry between yourself and the person that you're interested in. I can see that the person that you like or love is a little bit younger than yourself. If he's not younger, then he has a younger spirit. However, it shows that there's a lot of fiery passion between you, and that passion is equal. But you are the more mature person in the relationship. You're a lot more passive. You are more intuitive. Whereas he's very enthusiastic and impulsive. He's a very proud person, you can see that. But I guess it also shows that there could be an immaturity to him even if he is an older person. But it just shows that both of your hearts are on fire in this relationship. And not only that, you're thinking about one another a lot. And if you're in a conversational type relationship, you are really enjoying those discussions that you're having. And they could be based on something very intellectual. However, you can see here that the problem in your relationship and the truth of the matter is that you're not facing one another at the moment. I can see you looking for help in this situation because you're looking right at me. And you're reaching out your hand with a sort of communication to this person, but he's not listening to what you have to say. Even though you have this potential to talk very animatingly about different topics, and you can talk on a very intellectual level about different topics. He's really just thinking about his own adventures, his own projects at the moment, and he's not thinking about you. But it shows here he is curious about what you're doing. And I can see here he can be a little bit of a jester, so he must be a person that jokes around quite a bit. And I think that's what the problem is. He's joking around too much about something that you find quite serious. Because it shows here that you're quite an independent person. And you're very smart about your approach to this relationship. But his humour side is a challenge to this whole relationship because it's showing that you're taking it more seriously than what he is. You know, it shows like a Batman and Robin type character. So he's the Robin, and that indicates to me that he's a guy a little bit smaller in stature, but also is the first one that drops a joke, you know. So he's potentially does serious work and can have a serious and intelligent outlook on life, but he's not taking your relationship serious enough. That's what it shows. And it's caused confusion in you because I have every colour in this card. I mean, it just shows, you know, that you don't know where he's coming from, and it's boggled your brain a little bit. So that's why this relationship is up in the air at the moment. And you're not seeing progress because he's not taking it seriously enough, because he has this humorous side to him which overtakes his ability to form something structured with you and mature. The other thing is he's thinking about his own life and his own projects, and those adventures are much more important to him than what you are. But I can see you wanting to hand him the crown, which means you want him to be your other half. But he's not accepting your crown. And I think it comes down to the fact that he's just a little bit emotionally immature for you, because you are very, very mature. You're intuitive, you are well developed, and you know, you are almost spiritually well rounded, whereas he isn't. He's still got a lot of growing to do, and even if he is an older man, it says that he hasn't learned much in terms of his emotional development. So he's still got to go out there and find himself. But he is very intelligent, there's no doubt about that. It's just that his emotional side isn't all that well rounded. Because I can see that you live quite a staid life, which means that um, you probably don't drink a lot, you probably don't smoke, you are very square in your approach to life, you are very rigid in how you approach different tasks. You're a highly ethical person. You could be very spiritual, even if you don't go to church or you don't follow a line of spirituality, whatever that may be. You're a very pure person, and you can also be very loyal. So this is where the problem lies, because you found somebody that you really want to develop something with. That's what it shows. That you think could fill in those spaces, and he probably does, because you're very rigid and he isn't. So he can bring that jovial nature, that humour, that enthusiastic and playful spirit into your life, because you're just not inclined to be that way. It's not that it's not that it isn't in you, because you appreciate humour, you appreciate playfulness. But what it's saying is that he's got some growing to do, and because he's got that growing to do, it's going to be hard for you to settle him down into a relationship, because you're very settled, but he's not, and he won't be settled for quite a while. But I can see that he's a very intelligent person, um, and that he was a ray of light through the clouds for you, basically. So that's why you want to hand him the crown, the boyfriend crown, the husband crown, the lover crown, whatever it is. That's why you want to hand it to him, because he was a ray of light, or he is a ray of light for you. But it also shows here that he thinks in his mind that you are involved with another man. Those are his thoughts, and he would like to charge in, take the crown, and knock the other man down. That's what it says. But you're sitting apart. You don't really know this man that he's talking about. He must be a man that he sees is protective of you, but you're independent of him. So you're not too concerned about what this man's opinion is on the situation you have got going with this younger fellow, or this man with the younger spirit. So I can see it's like he's of two minds. He the only way that you can draw his attention in is by keeping that man behind you, or the perception that a man is behind you, because he reacts to jealousy, he reacts to competition. So he will get on his horse and charge towards you and take the crown if he feels he has competition. But if there's no competition, he will turn away from you and think about his life and his adventures. But just keep you there on the side. So I guess that's all connected to his immaturity or his young nature, because younger people tend to be very competitive. What it's saying is that you can have your man, but you've got to set up a competition to get him, because he's not going to react if he doesn't have anything to respond to, anything to react to. He won't budge, and he'll just turn around and keep you on the back burner, basically, and think about his own life again. So I get the impression that you're more than willing to have him by your side. But that younger side is going to cause issues in the relationship, because you'll find it very hard to stabilize him and keep him by your side unless he has competition before him. Okay, so that was deck 1. This is deck 2. I have the 2 of Cups, the 10 of Coins, and the 3 of Swords. What this shows me is that this is you feel that this is a sacred union between you both, and so does he. So you do love one another, but I can see that it's a new relationship. But the funny thing about it is that you are extremely loyal to one another, and you're very gentle and caring towards one another in love. But the situation is that quite possibly this is a third party situation, and there's another person in this scenario. But what it shows is that there's a lot of jealousy in that relationship. So, and the commitment was built on jealousy, and it was also built on cowardice between them, between the two people in the situation. Whether that's your man or whether that's a relationship he's presently trying to get out of, only you would know that. But because it shows that you're very loyal to one another and that this is a genuine love affair. And that it will lead to wealth and family if it hasn't already. But there is this third party, and she's very possessive of him, but it's because, you know, she's a jealous. There's a lot of jealousy between them. I wouldn't say it's all her, and I wouldn't say it's all him. The truth of the situation is that there potentially is this third party, but what he wants is a love affair with you, a loyalty that includes a very stable existence and a very genuine existence, which will lead to prosperity. I can see that he is already a prosperous person. but that she's sort of holding him back. But I can't see him trying to release himself. So it just shows me that they're both afraid of leaving one another, and there's a lot of jealousy between them. And it also shows that they've had a whole life cycle together, so they must have been together for a long time. There's also another lady in this situation. I don't know if you know much about his dealings in this relationship, but it just shows that he has a challenge there with another woman. She's got darker hair. She's very devoted to him. It's not the commitment partner that he currently has. It's someone else. And it involved heartbreak. So I get the impression from these cards that he may have had an affair with somebody and he broke her heart, and she's causing trouble because she is very devoted to him. But the relationship was most likely built on sex. That's what it's saying. Because she is a person that would offer herself in that way while being terribly devoted to the person she's with. But when that person breaks up with her, it turns into quite a big issue. So there is heartbreak there, and I think it's on her side. I can't see it here on his side so much. And the reason I don't think it's on his side is because he's got this commitment partner and she distracts him. And of course he has you're his, his Cinderella or his princess, his most beautiful possession at this current time. So you can see there is a lot of push and pull in this situation. There's heartache. And I guess that's the problem for him, is that he's heartbroken with this commitment partner, but he realizes that he's broken someone's heart, because obviously he was looking for escape routes, left, right and centre, and he happened upon somebody that he could have an affair with. But the problem is he underestimated her devotion to him, and I feel that it did turn into a situation where he used her, because he's just looking for some way to release himself from the situation he's in, and they won't let go of one another because they're both cowards, and there's a lot of jealousy in the situation. But it's also a very grounding relationship for him, to the point where you're the only one that can make him turn his back to it. So that shows that it is a genuine love. But you're also looking at this whole situation and you're assessing it, and you're saying to yourself, whatever that situation is, I mean, he could be separated and still in the throes of trying to work out his emotions in the situation, which is very common. But you would know what the situation is, because the third party element in it is very strong, and I don't think it's something he could hide from you. I think it was very obvious to you when you met that he potentially had another partner. I don't think it's something he's trying to hide. So that's just one aspect of the cards. If you're certain that there is no third party, then it shows that this is a genuine love. You're very loyal to one another. It will grow, turn into a situation where it's very prosperous for you in terms of wealth and stability. But there might be a little bit of hurt in the situation. And it says the hurt arises because there's a jealousy towards other people in the relationship on his side and on your side. So you're very cagey about who is around your partner if this isn't a third party situation. But it is showing up as third party, so I'm reading it that way. But it really shows that you've had some struggles in the past as well. You've suffered some heartache, you've been through some turmoil, and you want to leave that behind you. But it's also a challenge because it leaves you in the situation where you're a bit unsure whether you can take this relationship into the future, because you're very trepidatious about being with someone who might hurt you. And so you're just very observant about the situation, but you're also willing to turn your back to both the third party situation and whatever hurt could arise from that, because you're very loyal to him, as I said before. But that's an equal loyalty. You're loyal to one another. And you're even willing to forego everything and anything just to have your lover. It's almost as if he's the only person that you want. And he provides that love that you need in your life at the present time. He must also have a fantasy about you and him having your cups of coffee or your cup of tea on the lounge together and just appreciating one another and having a nice time together, being in his apartment and just getting drunk on your love. That's the kind of fantasy he has. And you can see him just standing there thinking about his love for you, but also thinking about his wealth. And he's standing there with a very, very cute smile on his face, like a self-satisfied smile. So it must mean that you do make him really happy. And the thought of you being in a love affair together just makes him feel smug. But he's obviously got, He's obviously the boss of something because he stands over the little people, so to speak. So he's also thinking about his business affairs or his monetary affairs and supervising his staff, that kind of thing. He might even have cats. Shows here a couple of cats. He might like cats, just as an extra piece of information. But also in this situation is that he's thinking how happy it makes him, but he's also thinking about how sad it potentially makes him. And the happiness side is stronger than the sadness side. So he must have gone through some turmoil with his emotions. That's what it shows me. It shows me that his emotions have been up and down, up and down, up and down. But the loving side wins. But when he feels you break his heart, you really break his heart. I mean, he almost wants to show you his heart. He's so hurt. And you can see his cats try to comfort him. If he has cats. So yeah, there's the two sides. The happy in love fellow and the sad fellow. So he could probably be hurt very easily by you because he feels so loyal towards you and he feels that it is a genuine love affair. But all he really wants to do is hold you in his arms. And he wants for you to hold him securely. But he doesn't know sometimes where he stands in the relationship, even though there's an equal love between you. So I guess sometimes he can feel insecure, and you need to work on that with him. You need to make him feel more secure, even though this love relationship is strong because you have the 10 of coins, you have the 2 of cups. So that's very stable. That's a very stable love affair. There's the uncertainty there with the 3 of swords. So you've got to make sure he's feeling stable and also reassure him within this love affair because he does have very genuine and loyal feelings for you, as I said before, and it would be very easy for you to hurt him. And maybe that's his karma, I'm sorry to say, for his other affair, because he has left someone on her own, who was very devoted to him, who was very passionate to him, but he ultimately had to break her heart, and now he's in love with you. So I get the impression it's a little bit of karma because he feels the same way for you as she did for him, and so he feels very vulnerable. So I think you have to be very careful that he feels supported within the relationship, because it just shows that he can become easily upset if he feels that you have hurt him. Okay, so that was deck 2.